Is buying a home a better financial decision than renting a home? This is a big topic that most of the younger generation struggles with today. And in today's video, we'll be exploring the factors that you should consider when it comes to buying versus renting a home. And we'll be talking about the impact of these factors on your decision to buy or rent a home. Now, you often hear the common saying, buying a home is better than renting a home. But why? Is this really true? Not necessarily. It depends on which side of the fence you belong to. When you hear this statement, always think about the person who is making this statement. Are they benefiting from the real estate transaction? Meaning, do they make their money from buying or selling a home? Are they an agent, a real estate agent that's selling you a home or listing your home? Are they a real estate lender, so a mortgage lender? Are they an appraiser? Are they a home inspector? So when you hear this statement, you have to be cautious of who this statement is coming from. Because of course, if I have an interest, if I make my money from you purchasing the property, I'm going to push for you to buy a home. Now, when you listen to investors like people on Wall Street or people who lend you, who rent you properties, who lease properties to you, property managers and landlords, you're likely going to get that push for you to rent over purchasing a home because they make money from renting you a home. So you got to be cautious. You have to be careful and try to have that discernment when it comes to who is passing this message across. There's no right or wrong here. So we'll be exploring this. Now, before we dive into the factors that you should really consider, I'm going to talk about something that's highly beneficial. You will find this highly beneficial because this kind of goes against the argument that, yes, every time you buy a home, you're building equity. That is true, but it depends on a lot of factors that we'll be talking about. So let's quickly go in and look at this analysis. And hopefully, this should help you out when it comes to the tough decision in buying versus renting. The average home price in America today sits over $400,000, between $400,000 to $500,000. So we're gonna go with $425,000 for the price of the new home purchase. And assuming you're putting down 20% down payments, which is $85,000, which most people, most millennials or the younger generation do not have $85,000 to put down today. But let's just imagine that you're putting down 20%, which is $85,000, and you're taking out a 30-year fixed loan or fixed mortgage at a 7% interest rate. Your payment is going to come out to be $2,600. So your monthly payment amount would be around $2,600. Now, the portion of your payment that goes towards principal and interest, which is building equity and interest you pay to the bank, the P&T, the P&I, that portion is right around $2,264. So roughly $2,200. Now, what portion of this $2,200 goes towards your equity in a given time? Let's just say we're looking at this right now from bankrate.com. When it comes to the portion of your payment that goes towards your principal, by the end of 2024, this calculator shows that by the end of 2024, December 2024, you will have about $3,147 towards your principal. And guess how much went to your interest payment? A whopping $21,757. Now, if you have a monthly mortgage payment, if you pay $2,600 a year per month, that means in any given year you've paid over $30,000 on this property within 12 months. But guess how much the average rent is for a similar property in America? So the median monthly rental price for a similar property in America is right around $2,000. To be specific, this report shows $1,966. So around $1,900, between $1,900 and $2,000. $1,900 and $2,000. So depending on where you live, we're gonna go with $2,000 a monthly rent. So paying $24,000 a year versus paying over $30,000 a year in mortgage, which is better? That means you're overpaying by $6,000 a year on mortgage payments, and only $3,000 of that payments of that over $30,000 goes towards your equity your first year. So now this is, I'm hoping this is at least, giving you some insight. Now just imagine you have your water heater go out the first year, or you have a major mechanical piece of your home, like your furnace or your AC, go out the first year. That wipes out your 2 years worth of equity just for replacing that. Maybe that wipes out your first year if you were successful in repairing that. So you have to consider home maintenance, because that's a huge cost that doesn't get factored in when you rent a home. And I'm not pushing you to rent or to purchase a home. I'm just trying to put to bed the saying that yes, just because you're paying mortgage means you're building equity or you're better off than the guy next door who is renting. There is a caveat to that, and that leads us to the factors that you should consider when it comes to buying versus renting a home. So let's talk about these factors real quick. So the very first factor that you want to consider when it comes to buying or renting is market condition. This is the first of the three factors, market condition. Now, what is market condition? Market condition takes into account the demand and supply in your local market. Remember, all real estate is local. Just because there's a huge demand in another zip code doesn't mean you have the same demand in your zip code. Just because there's a shortage of housing in another city or town, it doesn't mean that you have the same shortage in your city or town. So you have to be specific, and you have to do your research and figure out what exactly your city is seeing. Do you have a shortage, or do you have an oversupply? Or do you have a supply problem? Think about that and make sure you're doing your research, because that's a huge factor when it comes to the decision to buy or rent. Now, the other thing that you have to talk about when it comes to market condition, the subset of market condition would be interest rates, right? When you are in a high interest rate environment, chances are you're going to see pressure on the price of homes, typically. And one thing that is for sure is that in a high priced market, in a home where the prices are high, in a market where the price of homes are really high, you will see that the rental amount, the price of rent or the rental price tend to be lower than the mortgage payment, for the most part. So that would be a key decision to make. That would be a key determinant to the decision making process. And number two, the second factor that you have to consider, this is a big one. This is the duration of stay. When it comes to making your decision to buy or rent a property, you have to consider the length of time you plan on staying in that area or in that particular property. Are you in that city for a new job? Are you going to remain in that city for longer than 5, 6, 7 years? This is a huge determinant in deciding if you should buy or rent a home. Remember, in the first year of you paying mortgage, you will not get a lot of equity built up. A lot of your money goes towards interest, at least for the first 5, 6, 7 years. A ton of your payment goes towards interest. You're just paying the bank. You have minimal amount of money going towards building your equity. So the duration of stay matters a lot, because in the short term, you're losing out purchasing the property. Unless, now this is almost like speculation or gamble, unless you have a quick run up on appreciation. But remember, most properties, or not most properties, some properties don't always appreciate. You have properties that decline in value. It happens all the time. Properties do decline in value depending on what's happening within that market. So you have to watch out for people who tell you just purchase the property, it's going to appreciate next year or next 2 years. No one has a crystal ball. So you have to study the market conditions and determine how long you want to stay in the area. Now the number three, the very last one, last but not the least, this is also very important point when it comes to deciding if you want to buy or rent a home. That will be your personal or individual financial goals. So what exactly is your financial goal? Do you have a plan to build up X amount of emergency funds? And have you reached that goal? Do you have a goal to pay off X amount of debt? And have you paid off that debt, your high interest debt? So you want to consider these options. You want to consider your personal goals and make sure that buying a home is in line with your personal financial goal. Don't do it because the guy next door or your high school friend or your cousin is purchasing a home. Remember, this is a personal decision for you. So don't get influenced by other people's decision. Make this personal for you and make sure you are doing the right thing or the best thing that fits your personal situation and your personal financial goal. So I hope this made a lot of sense to you. If you found some value in this video today, if you feel like you now have some more insight to make an informed decision on purchasing or renting a home, be sure to let us know in the comment section below and give this video a thumbs up if you gained some value. Be sure to share this video with other people because somebody out there needs to hear this. Somebody out there is really wanting to make a decision and really needs to watch this video to get themselves out of the position that they're in right now. So give them this video, share this video with others, and do not miss out on subscribing. It only takes you about a second. Hit that subscribe button to avoid missing out on the next helpful videos for your financial journey. Thank you and stay safe.